Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another video. We are on the test server today to test out one of the newer champions added with the new patch, the big patch that is coming. Lots of quality of life changes, lots of things to talk about, but not in this video. Not in this video, because I think Plarium went all in, all in now with the champions. Is adding the newest mythical added to the skinwalkers, guys, is Gallius. A chicken, a male chicken, which sometimes can be called a cock, but I'm not gonna call it in this video like that because I don't want the video to be demonetized or something. I'm just saying it's a chicken, okay, a rooster. It's a rooster. Look at this one. It looks so cool, holding the two axes, and look at the transformation when it does happen. Glorious. It looks glorious. An electrified rooster. Looks insane, by the way. I love all the animations. I bet they had a lot of fun designing this champion. On day one, they thought this will be the best looking champion in the game forever. They will not be able to top this one. I mean, an electrified rooster. So let's go over the skills. I'll show him in action and give you guys my thoughts on him. If you do manage to summon him, then there will be some uses for him. Although, yeah, I'll keep my rating at the end. Okay, let's get started with the first form. He's a defensive base, by the way. Skinwalker, decreased speed debuff for 2 turns when counterattacking and damage inflicted is based on enemy max health. So that can be actually quite interesting when you are counterattacking, because you can apply a counterattack buff on yourself for 2 turns with the A2 skill and also a provoke. So this can definitely be used in the Hydra. You'll be able to apply a 2-turn provoke. You will be force affinity, so there is definitely a big use for this champion in the sense of you can even try and make him a mischief tank, because he's gonna have the unkillable buff on himself plus the counter attack, just extra buffs for the mischief head to be targeting Gallius. Okay, so have that in mind. Then let's have a look at the A3. Fully restores all allies max health that is destroyed, and then applies a revive on death and an increase defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. So quite a few buffs and debuffs that he can apply in this form. So you'll really have to think, okay, do I build him with enough accuracy and not really care so much about damage? That's one of the ways that you can use him if you're using the first form, which I think will be the one used for the Hydra for the most part. Reflects 50% of the damage this champion receives. If the attacker is a boss, reflects 100% the damage this champion receives, and also heals by 50% of the damage received. So very, very cool, very interesting. When you do get attacked, you'll be reflecting a lot of the damage back. And then on the metamorph, the bigger form, I would say this is usually the one people will be using if you're going to use this guy as a nuker. So that's a double hit if there's a defense debuff on the enemies. If there's a defense debuff, you do so much more damage, right? He applies it before he attacks with this AoE skill. Also can steal Terminator, 20% from each enemy. This can be quite useful in terms of getting extra turns and extra turns and extra turns. So there are uses for this form as well, but this will only be against enemies, of course, that can be Terminator manipulated, and it depends on your accuracy. So again, building him with accuracy will be reducing his damage output, but still makes him quite interesting because he'll apply the decreased defense. He does more damage based on the number of decreased defense debuffs. So pretty cool. And then A3 does damage based on the number of buffs on each target, 15% for each buff. Although I've found he does not hit that much, because if you can imagine enemies having protection, protected buffs, okay, you'll be doing more damage. That's one thing. You can decrease the duration of those buffs after the attack. All right, again, you'll need accuracy for this one. He won't become a sheep, a chicken becoming a sheep in this situation for PvP stuff. But does this really do any big damage? It depends, because if you have very strong increased defense buffs on enemies, will that 15% extra damage really do something over just, let's say, stripping those buffs instead? Have that in mind. And then finally, his passive. So when enemies are under a decreased defense debuff,
They cannot place a stun, sleep, fear, true fear, provoke, freeze, petrification debuffs in this champion. This is only for this form though. So you'll have to have this guy on this form. And then if there's a decreased defense, his A2 and A3 will be giving a reset to that skill. If he manages to kill at least one enemy, you'll get a reset on the cooldown. So that can be pretty useful. Let me show you how I've built mine. Not with insane stats, because I don't think you'll need to show him with insane stats to really see the damage output. This is pretty much an average build when you're starting out. 5,000 defense. You can go as high as you can with this one. Obviously 267 crit damage, no blessings. We don't have the blessings on the test server, and about 200 accuracy. That's going to help for a dungeon showcase, but not for anything else really. You'll need 350 minimum for anything else, and we're talking much more for other areas or even PvP, right? PvP, you're looking for 500 sometimes, but maybe you just want to apply the decreased defense on the nukers, who usually won't have any resistance. Usually depends on the blessings though. If they have 5-star blessing, that's 75 resistance, right? So Lethal said I could have done Merciless, for example. That would give me more ignore defense. I've given him Perception Lethal just to get that extra bit of accuracy. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at what I've made, guys. I'll show you guys the one team I wanted to I wanted to show you, just in the sense of having fun. 2 nuts and a cock. Yes, this is Raid Shadow Legends 2024. Does this work? It does. Let's go. Let's go. And a rooster. Okay, I said I wouldn't call him a cock. All right. We apply the weaken first, and then let's see him metamorph. He goes into the stronger version. He'll do the A2, and then gets an extra turn because he stole the turn meter there. And as you can see, with a weaken debuff and a decreased defense, he barely pushes through. Okay, my stats are not that great, but do you really want to be running 8,000 defense in order to beat a wave on Dragon, right? Do you really want to run those insane stats? So you see his multipliers are quite low on the A2. Quite low, even with a 5,000 defense. If I compare another nuker, which is Soulless, for example, Soulless will be doing so much more damage with a decreased defense on the enemies, okay? And this guy applies it first, so okay, you do get that advantage of applying the decreased defense, but still, I don't see the real benefit out of this guy. That's why I wanted to say my rating in the end. I feel like this guy has low multipliers. Even though he does apply the decreased defense, he should have still had a little bit higher multipliers to make this work. So campaign, unfortunately on auto, he'll not switch forms. That is one problem for mythicals, is that on auto, they're stupid. The mythical champions are just stupid. Unless you have a preset running, they'll just do the first form stuff, nothing else. So the first form you see right now, it's all right. It hits. You are defense, heavily in defense, because you get the buff on yourself, you get the counterattack, you get the unkillable. Basically, you should be okay with just the first form on running it on Nightmare. But you're not gonna run this guy on Nightmare. He's not gonna be your farmer. If it takes like a minute to clear this, it makes no sense. He's also bad affinity with being force. Even on stage 6, kind of bad. Even on stage 3, I think it would be bad. Stage 3, there's some magic champions like not magic, there's some spirit champions that can be annoying against you, so you're gonna have some issues. But let's say if AI worked and you would be here on stage 12-6, and if his AI worked and he just spammed the A2, it becomes interesting, because his A2 then can be spammed. Okay, you get the reset, you get the turn meter, right? You do this, basically pushes through the wave. He can do it again and again. He gets the turn meter boost, he gets the reset on the skill. Works very similar to how Queen Eva works for pushing this. So if it did work, custom AI worked, and if he could just start out with form 2, maybe that would have been cool, because it would save you a couple of seconds and he would be a faster farmer, even though with weak hits and stuff. So he would be a faster farmer than maybe something you would have on your account already. But I'll give you guys my example. I'm not going to use this guy as if I get him as a Nightmare farmer, because I want a Void champion, no weak hits, consistency, 5-second farm, as you can see with Ethos, very, very high stats with blessings and stuff, but he does it in 5 seconds. So if I could run it with 5 seconds on this guy, I would have shown it. I would have tried to push higher stats, but the weak hits just will deny that opportunity, guys. It's just the truth, all right? It will deny you that chance to do like a very quick farm for Nightmare. Then in arenas, I mean, in arenas, I think there's not so much that you can do with this guy. I just cannot see the use for him in arena, even on the second form. The first form, as I said, is more so for Hydra. So let's go. Let's see, are we gonna be faster? Yes, we are. Okay, there's no buffs on the enemy, so if we turn to the second form, even with this, we should be doing the A2. The A3 does damage based on the number of buffs. So I'll try to find enemies after this to show that, show the A3, but the A3 is very weak hitting. So force nukers have like a disadvantage, I feel like, in PvP. We don't see them that often compared to Spirit and Magic and Void, of course. But force nukers, not as often. So let's see. I become a chicken now. Okay. Because of who chickened me? Who chickened me? Was it Armand? Okay, yeah, I applied the defense down on Armand and then he made me a chicken. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to see. Okay. So we'll lose 2 turns. Fantastic. Let me just skip this and go back in. But the 5-star chicken polymorph it's what's gonna stop you from actually doing anything, I would say, in PvP. Because he's going to be applying the decreased defense to do any damage. So, with the state of PvP at the moment, I don't see him being run in there. So, let's see. Increase the cooldowns. Let's see. Resisted by everybody. How did I get resisted by all of these guys? Insane. All right. Please don't make me a chicken. Not a chicken. A sheep again. All right, we do some damage, as you can see, like 130k. That's what you want to be doing, right? Killing them. And you will kill them with any champion if there's a decreased defense on. It's just the reality of how any nuker works. They will kill the target if there's a defense down on. So I could do the A2 here again, but let's show you guys the A3 with no buffs. So no buffs, so no benefit at all from this extra skill. There's no reason to do the A3 when there's no buffs. I'll just show it now and compare the damage, okay? Because this one does not face any affinity problem. So at least on Python, let's see, did 30,000. So even with 15%, multiple 15%, how much more damage can it really do? Because remember, the buffs will also be protecting them. So there is a counter to that. You're gonna face problems. All right. And then the A2 does much better damage, like 100k. 100k, by the way, will not kill tanky nukers like Taras. Taras, of course, we will not kill him because of his passive. And then with champions like Narcissus, again, you will not kill him because usually they'll have like a minimum of 100,000 plus the bolster sets plus maybe a buff here and there. I'll not go against a +4 6-star empowered Siffy. No chance I'm faster than that. This team by Yang probably will have a lot of buffs. Let's see. Probably will have the Duchess buffing them. So what I want to do here is I'll not use my lock. I want to see them buffing up. All right. Let's try and see them buff up a little bit. Let's try to remove the stone skins. Nope. All right. Those 2 guys are asleep. There's a few buffs now. And let's do our cooldowns now. Their cooldowns now. Let's boost ourselves. Let's turn into the other form. So now with 3 buffs, let's read the skill again. Attacks all enemies, damage increases by 15% for each buff on each target. Each buff on each target. So 4, 7, 10, 13 buffs times 15%. So is that 150% minimum increase? Almost 200%, right? 45. Yeah, almost 200%. So how hard how much harder is this gonna hit? Because the Perfect Veil protects him by 15%, and then you also have the Duchess passive, by the way, on AoE attacks. So this will be an AoE attack. Let's see. Weak hits didn't really help me there with the showcase with the weak hits. Let's reset that stuff again. Hopefully I'll get a turn before the enemies. Okay, about the same number of buffs, by the way. Hey, don't hit me. Oh, no, not gonna use my A2. I want the buffs there. Okay, please don't weak hit now, because I want to do a damage test here. 45,000, 22,000 on a tank. Just not cutting it. It feels like it's horrible multiplier. So let's exit this one. Enough for the PvP. Let's go into the Hydra. So for the Hydra, I would be running much higher accuracy for form 1 of this guy. So let's say I had the same set. Obviously, if you're gonna run him as a mischief tank with the form 1, you should not be using a lethal set. I don't think a lethal set would be so good for him, although he does enemy max health damage. All right, 300 accuracy. 300 accuracy is close to okay. Like if I run some glyphs, maybe we're there. On Nightmare Hydra, I guess I could show him, but for sure on hard Hydra I should be okay with 300 accuracy. So let's run hard. I'm gonna use my Nightmare team. So instead of a crazy, I have this chicken there. So we'll go in there and have a look at how this is gonna work. So we'll apply decreased defense. Let's do increased buffs. Let's try and apply some hex at least. Then let's do, I could do the provoke, although this guy has the provoke. So let's do the decrease speed first. And then he'll be the provoker here, right? So attacks all enemies will provoke. There we go. There's the provoke. Look at how many buffs I have now. So that is the problem. He has more buffs than my mischief tank. So I'm already in a little bit of an issue because the mischief head will go and target the chicken. And it's a strong affinity, so there's no chance for a weak hit or something. So that is why I said maybe you need to run him as a mischief tank slush, provoker and stuff like that for the Hydra. So let's see. Goes in there for the steal. Yeah, that's what I didn't want to see. Let's see if I do. I just completely change the build. I could. Good, but let's just keep on going here. Maybe I can buff again and see his damage output or something here. So let's see. We can have another provoke there in case something goes bad. Even stole our Terminator. That's the bad thing. Alright, so fully restores, revive on death, increase defense. So he doesn't do much damage in this form. Like he does the AoE, but when counterattacking only, he does enemy max health. So like in this situation, just restore my max health, apply the revive on death. The revive on death can be useful because I guess you can use him in teams where with the revive on death, you'll use him in order to not run a reviver, and that should help you. So you run maybe increased resistance kind of team, and you should be okay. There's mischief changing targets now. That's good. Keep on attacking them. This is on cooldown now. So with this build, I'll probably run him in Relentless maybe. Although the counterattack would be expiring, so maybe not Relentless, maybe Merciless. Yeah, maybe Merciless instead, so he reduces the cooldown of his skills and not reducing the duration of the buffs that he has. So yeah, probably that's how I would use him. So the A1 without the counterattack, let's see what it does. 100k, yeah, it's not bad. So with the counterattacks, that would be much higher, right? Would be based on enemy max health, but it would be capped at the 10% of the boss's health. So it looks okay. I think I would use him as a mischief tank instead of how I'm running him with a lethal set. So you would need quite high resistance. So at least 350 for this. For Heart Hydra, and then 450 to 500 on anything else. So good damage there with the A2. Good damage. Let's see. Can we kill that head before it tries to steal my stuff? Almost. As I said it. All right. Let's see. Apply this skill. Decrease defense. Let's see the damage of him. I'll switch forms, actually. I'll switch forms and see if maybe the second form is much better when the heads are down. Maybe you can do it as a... just have him on first form and then switch him out once you see the decay head just not there anymore. So you run this. See the A2, there's a reflect there. So probably that's going to kill me, right? Yeah, not good. But anyway, let's see it. All right, 350k there. Okay, it's as expected, but on hard, I mean, even I can run any champion really and do that kind of damage with the decreased defense on a head that's down. Any champion, even Armiger probably can do that with enemy max health damage. Like if there's a decreased defense on and good gear, any damage dealer can do it. Let's see the A3. Yeah. I mean, the A3 was horrible before, so it even does 250 now. So, we see there with the Merciless, my Archer doing solid damage there as a big AoE. Let's see. One more boost, one more attack. I'm gonna say, and also there's the Head of Suffering there, so that reduces my damage by, I think it's 25%. 30% from AoE attacks. Yeah, 30%. All right. Come on. See the A1. Ooh. Yeah, the A1 was nice, actually. So if there's a decreased defense, he does like a double hit. Does pretty solid damage, actually. So I think, again, Hydra champion more than anything. I don't think you'll see him on PvP. I think his multiplayers need a little bit of a boost for a mythical. For a mythical, guys. Remember, he's gonna be compared to the other mythicals that you can potentially pull, like Alaz, very high damage potential. Okay, then you have Garl, really high damage potential here as a nuker, mythical nuker. So you're pulling your primals, you buy them $5 each. You're not gonna look for the chicken, you're gonna look for either of those two, let's say, for damage for the Hydra. So those are my thoughts for the test server, guys. What do you think of the new chicken rooster that was added? Gallius. I think Gallus is the word for like the scientific word for a chicken. I was trying to Google it, why they call it a cock, because we don't call it a cock here. I think it's only in US that's mostly called like that. Anyway, funny champion, cool looking one, brand new mythical on the test server. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already if you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.